Shalom. I want to start off by saying Kal Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us His truth and who rule well. Peace and citations unto the Akim that is spread around the four corners of the earth, spreading His word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the whole elect. I'm the brother Quatas of Zion, coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai with another lesson, with another video. And Lord willing, this video is edifying. So in this video, I want to speak on the upcoming shortages. 2022 just started, and there is already talk of shortages. So let me go to this article. Food shortages we should see in 2022, and of course they put abomination on top. It reads, let's be honest here. 2020 kicked off a decade that just seems like a cruel joke after another. Life for pretty much everyone went through a seismic shift with the arrival of a global, and with it came the shortage. Unfortunately, that continued through 2021. And bad news, folks, it looks like 2022 will be the same way. In late 2021, Bloomberg took a look at the food shortages that were causing some serious chaos across the U.S. grocery stores, where warning of the possibility that shelves were going to look bare in places, and telling customers not to be surprised if they had trouble getting certain things. So they are already massaging it in, they are already making you ready to be able to cope with this situation, the situation without food, without certain things, certain luxurious things at first. But then it's gonna go down to the basic things that people need, because He's making us ready. That's what the scripture goes into. Let me get to that real quick. Let me see Revelation 13, verse 16, and it reads, "And He caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." So let's go into that word, cause it. And in the Greek, it's
Strong's G 4160, poieo.
And the outline of biblical usage says to make, with the names of things, to produce, to construct, to form, to fashion, to be the authors of, to cause, to make ready. You see? So they're preparing you to prepare. So that's why they are grooming and preparing these people for the upcoming shortages that they are gonna construct. You see? So I'm gonna put this article, I'm not gonna go through the whole article, I'm just gonna jump through a couple of things, and I'm gonna put it in the link below. For example, milk and dairy. Among the problems Bloomberg found was a shortage of milk going to the public schools in places like Denver, and it turns out that's not an isolated incident. See, so milk and dairy, pork and bacon, of course, that's the cheapest meat to defile the Jacob descendants with, which are the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, because they're targeted. So that's why they make it as cheap as possible. And now they're making you scared that it's gonna be scarce. So people are gonna go and get it more. Craft beers. You love beer? Look forward to picking up a few special beers to celebrate a Friday night. It might get a little more difficult to get your favorites come 2022. So beer is gonna be a shortage. Let's see, Coca-Cola, salmon, which is actually a good fish to eat. You know, it's lawful and it has healthy fats. Coffee. It's gonna be a shortage of anything in an aluminum can. Chocolate. Poultry and eggs. It's no secret that restaurants were hard hit by the closure and restrictions of the you know what. And according to small business trends, they're going to continue to struggle, particularly those that rely on chicken-centric menu. See, so chicken, which is also cheap, which is also a necessity for Jakes, you know, so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's what we consume the most. Pasta and other wheat products. Pasta was one of the in-demand items that customers sort of got used to seeing missing from grocery store shelves during the you know what. So people were already accustomed that these things weren't around. Liquor. According to the drinks business, liquor in both the US and the UK is, as the end of 2021, being subject to what shippers are giving names like Al Local and rationing. In other words, stores are seeing shortage and empty shelves. There are few things going on here, and part of it has to do with difficulties in the logistics and the supply chain. You see, so that's what's going on right now in also Canada, and they're introducing it into America and other places in the world, which actually these are men that are set up to start these what is it, a campaign, a so-called protest, you know, that these truckers they have a protest, you know, in Canada, and that's all is all from the same side that is causing this. You know, they come with a so-called solution, they come with a so-called protest so that you can follow the sheep, the herd, into the direction that they want you to. Controlled opposition, that's what you call it. You see? Let me see if I can find it real quick. What was it? Canada and truckers. See, Canada protests. Police arrest leaders of trucker convoy. BBC News says. Trucker protests in Canada, what you need to know. So these people, like the ones that caused the whole invading of the Capitol building, you know, what was happening to these people? They get caught up, they get arrested by the cops, but then, you know, what happens to them? You don't see them anymore. So these people, they're all agents, man. So going back to the article, pet food is going to be a shortage of, you see? So all these things, wine, avocado, so all these things there's going to be a shortage of, and the scriptures speak on that. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, which means the people that are having an eye on the economic structure of this empire, of the so-called white man's empire. So those are the keepers of the house. And when they shall tremble means when they are gonna be afraid, when there's, because if you look at not Walmart, Wall Street right now, it's all over the place. People can't really invest like how they used to. You see, and the strong men shall bow themselves, meaning the strong men, the military men, the men that of the mighty men, when they are gonna be weak, and the grinders cease because they are few. Few people are at work right now. Also, people are being laid off because of this whole thing that we're in. You know, this Ragamuffin 19. So people are being laid off. The grinders are few, and those that look out of the windows are be darkened. So the people that look into the future, because that's what it means to look out the window, to look into the future. These are the people that make these estimations and forecasts of how the economic system is gonna be in a year or a couple of years, because that's how Esau system works. You know, if you go to any company, you see that those companies are loaning or being lent money from the banks. So they should make a forecast of how much money they're gonna spend this year, you know, to fill that gap that they loaned from the banks. So people are making forecasts continually. You know, the people that do the projects, the people that do everything in the company, they have to make a summary of how much money they're going to spend so that they can report it back to the bank which they loaned the money from, to come closer to the gap. You see, to close that gap that they created by loaning money. So this is verse 4, Ecclesiastes 12:4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And that's right about now, you know, meaning the grinding is low means that there's not going to be a surplus anymore of food. You know, so when there's grinding, that means people are working. And when people are working, there's excess of things, you know. That's what you need, but because they're continually working, there's going to be a surplus. Let's go into that word surplus. There's a surplus meaning an amount of something left over when requirements have been met, an excess of production or supply. More than that is needed or used, excess, you see. Surplus, being more than or in excess of what is needed or required, an amount of quantity in excess of what is needed, and quantity or amount in excess of what is required, an excess of actual net assets over the nominal value of capital stock, being in excess, extra. So that's what it means when the grinding is low. There's not going to be a surplus anymore. Because the scripture also said in Isaiah, in 2nd Ezra 16, verse 21, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So it says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth. So victuals are things that you need as food supplies. Let me not butcher the meaning. Fiddles, meaning food or provisions, you see? Provide with food or other stores. So, food shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. So people are not going to have bad times on their mind, because that's how good everything is. You know, they got canned food, they got things in packages all that they can store up and freeze. You know, so people weren't worried about these things. But now you see, in 2022, people are already making forecasts that there's going to be shortages in certain things. So the Most High says, even though victuals were good cheap back then, even Then evil shall grow on earth, sword, famine, great confusion, and that's what is happening right now. Confusion is being spread, famine is coming, you know, especially the third world countries. They are already hitting famine kind of situations, but the first world countries, they still have to feel it. But slowly but surely, evils are growing here upon earth. You see? So going back, Ecclesiastes 12 verse 2, and the doors shall be shut in the street when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of a bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah, man. So concerts and all these things were canceled for a while, But here in Holland, they want to open up the clubs back. I think it's this Friday or next week Friday. And yeah, man, that's not gonna last long, believe you me. So these shortages that are in the stores that people are talking about, that's all because of the devil, which is the word devil goes back to diablos, which goes to in calumniator or false accuser, somebody that is a liar, and as a so-called white man, those are his characteristics. So that's why we call him a devil. So he is causing everybody, he is making everybody ready to receive the thing that he's preparing for them, which you already know what it is, which goes in your hand, you see, which goes under the skin. So he's preparing everybody for that. So that's why he's in a hurry right now. He's in a rush, because now is the time that he can push his agenda, because he is seeing that he doesn't have a lot of time. Why? Because of this. Revelation 12 verse 17, and the dragon was wrought with the woman, and the dragon that represents the Roman Empire, and we are living in the Roman revived empire, which is the so-called white man's rulership. So the white man was wrought with the woman, and who's the woman? The woman is the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, because we are likened unto a delicate woman, the Most High said. You can read about it in Jeremiah 6 and 2, and also in Revelation 12 and 1, where it says the lady with 12 stars. And who are the 12 stars? The 12 stars are the 12 tribes of Israel. So it reads, Revelations 12 and 17, and the dragon was wrought with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. What is the remnant? The remnant is the elect. So they are looking for the elect. They want to make war with the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans for the elect's sake, the people, the men that are doing the work, the men that are prophesying, which keep the commandments of the Most High. Those men are going to keep the commandments, and they are going to have faith that he's going to send his son, Yahushai, to come bring judgment upon this place. So that's why they want to be found without blame. They want to be found blameless, putting up sacrifices, doing this work, putting up their body as a living sacrifice. And it reads, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahushai, like we were saying. We are hoping that Yahushai is coming. That's the day that we're hoping for. So the men, the ones that pull the strings, the so-called enlightened ones, the Chaldees, the Illuminati of this society, they see that the prophets and the men are back on the street. So now is the time to make the push, and to construct their idea and to bring it into fruition, because they see that this is happening. So that's why they are hastening the time. They're coming after the woman, which are the Israelites, which is the seed, the remnant of the seed, which are the elect. They're going to push for the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans with everything that they do. So that's why it says in Revelation 12 and 12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, which is a so-called white man, is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. You see? So now is the time that he's going to push. He's loosening the grip right now a bit, you know, because winter is almost passing, so he's gonna give you time to breathe, but then he's gonna clinch it again. You see, the topic that we're speaking on is shortages. So let me close it off with Isaiah 65 verse 13, that the men, the remnant of the seed, the elect, the ones that have the testimony of Yahushua, they don't have to worry, you know, because this is what the scripture says. Isaiah 65 verse 13, therefore thus said the most high power, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. So the Most High is going to take care of his servants. He's going to take care of the remnant of the seed of the woman, which is Israel. You see, the ones that keep his commandments, the ones that do what he commanded them to do, go into the highways and byways and feed the flock, feed the sheep. See? So, this video is edifying, and I want to say, Kal Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, Basham, Rakak Kodash, Shalom Akim.